Imagine this. You've just opened your eyes after a long night's sleep. Instead of taking a deep breath to feel the life flowing through every cell, the very first thing you do is reach for your phone. And within just seconds of scrolling, your mind is flooded with hundreds of voices, images, and news that do not belong to you. Do you notice it? Before we even begin a new day, we've already handed over our soul to the chaos outside. The Buddha once said, "What you feel, you attract. What you imagine, you create." Yet, most of us wake up only to continue sleeping through our very own life. Not the sleep on the bed, but a state of dullness rushing along with the endless wheel of demands, without ever pausing to ask, what is truly my path? If you've ever felt this way, you are not alone. How many mornings have you opened your eyes with exhaustion, as if the whole world is already waiting to pull you in? Work, responsibilities, messages, emails, and you begin the day feeling breathless instead of peaceful. But what if there was another way? What if, with just a simple sentence spoken to yourself in the morning, you could shift your entire energy for the day from your mood to your focus, even the way you see the world? Would you believe that just a few seconds can turn your morning into a pillar of strength instead of the starting point of exhaustion? This is exactly what Buddhist wisdom reminds us of. Every morning is like a secret doorway. Not a door leading outward into the noise, but one that opens inward to the stillness, the clarity, and the quiet power that has always been waiting for you. In this video, I will share with you 5 powerful things you should tell yourself each morning. These are not empty positive slogans. They are 5 seeds of mindfulness, nurtured by Buddhist wisdom and deep living experience, capable of bringing real transformation to your inner world. The final one, the 5th, may help you finally release the burdens you've been carrying for far too long. And perhaps it is the key that frees you from clinging, from endless worries, from the exhausting cycle you thought you could never escape. Are you ready to explore and try this for yourself tomorrow morning? If yes, I invite you to walk with me on this journey. And leave a comment below with just these words: my morning, my power, as a reminder that you are choosing a new beginning, a peaceful beginning. But before we begin, if this is your first time here on Buddha Wisdom, don't forget to subscribe, because each video here is not just a message, but a doorway to peace, to clarity, and to timeless wisdom values you will rarely find anywhere else. 1. I am not my thoughts. I am the stillness beneath them. Have you ever noticed that before the sun even rises, your thoughts have already dragged you away? The moment you open your eyes, the mind starts running like an endless reel. What mistake did I make yesterday? How many things are waiting for me today? What will happen tomorrow if things go wrong? That is why most of our suffering is not because of the body, but because of the endless noise in the mind. The very first reminder you need each morning is, I am not my thoughts. I am the stillness beneath them. It may sound simple, but this small belief can transform your entire day's energy. In Buddhist teaching, the mind is often compared to a restless monkey, leaping from branch to branch, from fear to worry, never willing to stop. Yet above all that chaos, there is still a vast, unmoving sky, and that sky is your true nature. Thoughts come and go. They judge, they predict, they react. But you, the real you, are the one who observes them all. You are not the voice in your head. You are the awareness that hears it. When you begin the day by identifying with thoughts, you bind yourself to their fluctuations. If your thoughts are anxious, you feel anxious all day. If your thoughts are critical, you carry guilt and feel not enough. But if you remember, I am only the witness, not the stream of thoughts, you create space to breathe, to choose how to respond instead of being swept away. Try this mindful morning practice. Before rushing to grab your phone, sit quietly for a few minutes. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and whisper to yourself, "I am not these thoughts. I am the stillness watching them pass." When you observe instead of react, you give yourself the greatest gift, the gift of choice. You can choose peace over tension, understanding over judgment. A full day of presence instead of being dragged around by your restless mind. Meditation does not teach us to suppress or chase away thoughts. It teaches us to witness them. Because suffering begins when we identify with thoughts, blindly believing them. But freedom begins the moment we realize we are the seer, not the seen. So tomorrow morning, try asking yourself, can I sit with my mind without becoming it? Don't rush to answer. Just carry the question like a lantern, letting it light up your steps in the dawn. And always remember, the way you begin your morning is the mirror of how you live your life. 2. Everything I need is already within me. There was a woman I once spoke with named Anna. Every morning she woke up with a heavy feeling of not being enough, not smart enough, not beautiful enough, not successful enough. She picked up her phone, and instantly she saw friends showing off their vacations, colleagues sharing achievements, or numbers she thought she could never reach. In just a few seconds, comparison had already gripped her heart. Have you ever felt that? That silent moment in the morning, instead of peace, turns into an invisible race. A voice rises in your head. You must do more. You must prove more. You're still not enough. This is the very illusion the Buddha spoke of. He taught that suffering begins with the belief that something outside of us will make us whole. But the truth is different. Peace cannot be found in possessions, in comparison, or in someone else's gaze. It has always been within you. Like a lake, though the surface may stir with waves, the deeper waters remain still. Each morning, the illusion of lack shows up the strongest. It hides in the unfinished tasks, in the reflection staring back from the mirror, in the way we believe we must push ourselves to become more. But try pausing for a moment and whisper, "Everything I need is already within me." With just that one phrase, you shatter the illusion. You return to your inherent wholeness. Imagine a tiny seed. On the outside, it looks ordinary, small, unremarkable. Yet within it lies an entire forest. Everything is already there, waiting to be nurtured. And so it is with you. You don't need the world to validate you. You already carry infinite potential inside. When you depend on others to tell you who you are, you give away your power. You become a chaser. But when you turn inward, you take it back. You realize you don't need to chase love because you are love. You don't need to seek worth because your very existence is already worth. And the morning, that is the perfect moment to remind yourself of this, because the mind is still soft, still open, easily shaped. You can choose to let it be pulled into the race of scarcity, or choose to rest in the fullness of the present. So tomorrow morning, when you open your eyes, before looking outward, place your hand on your heart and say to yourself, "Everything I need is already within me." And you'll notice the whole day feels different, softer, stronger, more peaceful, as if you've finally returned to your true home. 3. Nothing outside of me can disturb my peace. Have you ever felt that, the moment you wake up, the world already rushes to pull you away? The phone rings, emails pile up, people come to you with their worries, anger, or judgments. And sometimes, within just minutes, you feel your inner peace slip away. But there's one reminder I always tell myself. Nothing outside of me can disturb my peace. Because in truth, you are not a sponge meant to absorb every negative energy. You are more like a mirror reflecting, but not clinging. Others may bring their storms, but you always have the choice not to turn it into a storm within yourself. Imagine a deep lake. The wind may blow strong, someone may even throw stones into it. The surface ripples, yes, but the depths remain still. That is you when you return to the silent foundation inside. The Buddha taught that letting go does not mean being cold or indifferent. Letting go is openness. It is loving without losing yourself. It is listening without absorbing. It is helping without holding on. When we live this way, peace is no longer a luxury. It becomes our strength. But let's be honest with ourselves. How often do we allow others to define our worth? A harsh word, a critical glance? Yet the truth is, nothing outside can define you. What matters more is, after being pulled away, do you return to yourself? Can you take one deep breath instead of rushing to react? Can you observe instead of absorb? Can you remain soft, even when the world grows sharp? These are not small questions. They are the very path to freedom. Every morning, you have a choice: to carry the weight of the world and be crushed, or to walk through the world with a steady and peaceful heart. One choice creates stress, the other opens to liberation. That is why I whisper to myself every morning, nothing outside of me can disturb my peace. When you hold this phrase in your heart, it is not just a reminder of resilience, it is a truth. No one can enter the sanctuary of silence within you unless you open the door. No one can take your serenity unless you forget it already belongs to you. Throughout the day, you will surely encounter noise, but noise only becomes suffering when you cling to it. Let everything pass like clouds across the sky, like wind over a field. Respond with love, but anchor yourself in stillness. Speak with clarity, but root yourself in silence. And every time you feel shaken, return to your breath, to your center, to the untouchable place in your heart. Now imagine, what if your peace became your strongest form of resistance? What if your gentle presence, your unshakable serenity, was the greatest gift you could give to the world? Don't let peace be only a reward after effort. Let it become your default state. Because the most sacred thing you can protect is the silence within. 4. Today I choose presence over pressure. Let me tell you a story about David. David is a man in his 50s. He has worked for over 30 years, raised grown children, and even now, every morning, he still wakes up with an endless to-do list in his head. Emails to reply to, meetings to prepare for, family responsibilities that never stop. The interesting thing is, even before opening his eyes, the pressure is already there. Have you ever felt that? As if an army is waiting right outside your bedroom door, ready to rush in the moment you step out. And David lived this way for many years, always running, always rushing, always believing that if he just did a little more, finally, he would earn his peace. But what was the truth? The more he ran, the farther away peace became. In Buddhism, the morning is seen as a sacred time, not to be consumed by urgency, but to anchor the mind in clarity. Every morning is an opportunity to remind yourself, today, I choose presence over pressure. Do you see it? When we start the day in haste, the whole day unfolds like a machine, reacting, chasing, checking, always next, and the next, and the next. And before you even take your second deep breath, the day has already swallowed you whole. The Buddha once said, "The problem is, you think you have time." This saying isn't meant to scare us, but to remind us. Life doesn't wait for you to clear your inbox before it begins. It doesn't wait until your tasks are done to truly start. Life is happening right now, in this breath, in the warmth of the coffee in your hand, in the gentle sunlight touching your skin. Pressure is only an illusion. It wears the mask of urgency, convincing you that if you don't rush, you'll fall behind. But the truth is, pressure blinds us. It hides the laughter of children. It makes us miss the beauty of the morning sky. It steals the simple joy of doing one thing with your whole heart. Presence, however, is different. Presence is your true home. It doesn't ask for perfection. It doesn't demand you prove anything. It simply invites you back to the breath, to this moment, to the life that is unfolding right before your eyes. Imagine this. Tomorrow morning, instead of grabbing your phone to check work right away, you place your hand on your chest, take a deep breath, and whisper, "Today, I choose presence over pressure." You will still do what needs to be done, but with a different rhythm. Not from panic, but from mindfulness. Not from tension, but from grace. You become clear, steady, without losing gentleness. And here's the question you can ask yourself each morning. Am I living my life or just running through my to-do list? This is not a burden. It is a doorway, an invitation to step out of the unconscious spiral of busyness and step into conscious living. Because presence is not just a habit. It is a homecoming back to what is true, sacred, and already here. 5. I let go so that life can flow. Have you noticed? Every morning, right after waking, we stand before a silent choice, to hold on or to let go. And most of us, almost by habit, choose to hold on. We cling to plans, to expectations, to mental scripts like, "Today must go this way, exactly as I want." Before the sun even rises, the heart is heavy, the mind is attached, the spirit already tired. Buddhism teaches that the root of suffering lies in clinging. When you hold on too tightly, you close yourself off from the natural flow of life. But letting go doesn't mean giving up. It doesn't mean neglecting responsibility. Letting go means learning to trust. It means allowing life to unfold in its own way, instead of forcing it into your will. Imagine you're gripping a rope so tightly that your hand hurts. Letting go is simply opening your hand. You don't lose the rope, but you free yourself from the pain. And life is the same. When we let go, we don't lose anything. Instead, we open the door to lightness, to new possibilities, to a dawn no longer clouded by yesterday. What we call control is mostly an illusion. You can make plans, but you can't command the wind to blow your way. You can hold expectations, but you can't force the sun to rise faster or slower. Life has its own rhythm, and morning is the perfect reminder. Trust that rhythm. When you relax your grip, life stops working against you and begins to flow through you. Ask yourself, what can I let go of today? Maybe it's an expectation that stresses you, a comparison that makes you feel small, or simply an old story you keep repeating in your head. Every time you let go, you don't lose. You become lighter, closer to the truth that peace is not found in control, but in surrender. So look at the sun each morning as a teacher. It doesn't struggle, it doesn't push or pull, it doesn't demand. It simply shines, and so can you. You don't need control to shine. You only need to let go, so that life may flow through you, like a river finding its way to the sea. Summary of the 5 morning truths. Imagine this. You wake up today, and your mind is already crowded with thoughts. What to do first, whether you'll meet the deadline, whether something unexpected will happen. Then that familiar feeling arrives. Stress, heaviness, as if you're running before you even take a breath. But what if, in just one moment of pause, you whispered different words to yourself and your whole day shifted? The Buddha once taught, the mind precedes all actions. When the mind is at peace, all is at peace. And that is why we begin the morning with 5 powerful reminders, not as slogans to stick on a wall, but as doorways to the soul. First, say to yourself, "Today I choose letting go over clinging." How many mornings do we wake still holding yesterday's worries, a harsh word, an unresolved fear? But you know this. The tighter you hold, the more it hurts. When you release, you become free, like dropping a stone into a river. Your hands are open again to receive the new. Next, today I choose peace over reaction. You cannot control everything that happens today. There may be traffic. Someone may upset you, but you can control your response. Peace doesn't mean avoidance. It means stepping out of anger's whirlpool and reminding yourself, "I am larger than this moment." Then, today I choose presence over pressure. Have you noticed how often we live like machines on autopilot, eating without tasting, working while the mind drifts elsewhere? The heaviness isn't in the task, it's in not being truly present. When you breathe deeply, when you see the moment clearly, pressure melts away, leaving only the wonder of life right here. The fourth affirmation: today I choose trust over control. We grew up in a world that taught us to control everything, but the more we control, the more we fear losing. The Buddha taught impermanence as the nature of all things. When you place your trust in life's flow, even when it doesn't follow your plan, you find freedom and relief. And finally, whisper, "Today I choose to let life flow through me." Like water flowing through a stream, you don't need to force. You only need to open, allowing life to pass through with its joys, its sorrows, its unfinished parts. Do you see? These reminders are not words to read and forget. They are doorways, and each morning you are invited to step through not with perfection, but with willingness. Let your morning be a silent prayer, a declaration that you choose peace over stress, presence over disconnection, letting go over control. Because when you live from these choices, you don't just change your morning, you change your life.